Let's get straight to the point. Are you actively trying to eat more protein, but you're still losing muscle? You add chicken to your salad, you have eggs for breakfast, but you still feel that grip getting weaker, or it's just a little harder to push yourself out of that chair. If so, you are experiencing a hidden epidemic. There's a term for this loss of muscle: sarcopenia. And here is the truly frightening part. A study from the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia and Muscle found that individuals over 65 with severe sarcopenia have a 3.6 times higher risk of falling. But why is this happening if you're eating protein? It's because your body is likely suffering from anabolic resistance. It means your muscles have become deaf to the protein you're eating. It's simply not being used. What if I told you the solution isn't more protein, but fixing your body's response to it? My name is Frank Taylor, and at 68 years young, I've spent a lot of time thinking about these very questions. Now, I am not a medical doctor. My journey has been a bit different. I've dedicated my retirement to being a sort of health detective for folks just like us. I dig into the clinical studies, which are always linked in the description below, to find the truth. And my goal is to turn that complex science into practical advice we can actually use. And one of the most surprising truths I've found is that we can fight this deafness. So, in today's video, we are going to investigate what causes this anabolic resistance. Hint, it's a fire inside your body. Why just eating more protein is the wrong advice, and the two simple, inexpensive foods that can put out the fire and reawaken your muscles. If you are ready to make your protein finally work for you, please hit that like button right now. It truly helps get this vital information to others who need it. Decoding anabolic resistance, the invisible enemy. All right, so we've established the culprit's name: anabolic resistance. It sounds technical, but the concept is critically important for every single one of us. Let's break it down. The word anabolic simply means to build up. It's the opposite of catabolic, which means to break down. When we are young, our bodies are in a constant anabolic state, building bone, tissue, and muscle. When you eat a piece of fish or an egg, your body breaks that protein down into its building blocks called amino acids. These amino acids travel through your bloodstream to your muscles. Think of your muscle cell as a locked house, and these amino acids as a construction crew waiting outside with all the materials needed to repair and strengthen the house. To get in, they need the foreman inside the house to open the door. In your cells, that foreman is a master growth switch, a pathway called mTOR. When mTOR hears the signal, when it senses those amino acids outside, it's supposed to run to the door, unlock it, and shout, "All right, crew, come on in, let's get to work." The amino acids rush in, and your muscle tissue is repaired and strengthened. That is the proper anabolic process. But anabolic resistance is what happens when the foreman gets old, tired, and deaf. The construction crew, the protein, is outside. They are knocking, they are shouting. But the foreman, mTOR, is sitting inside with his feet up, and he can't hear a thing. The door stays locked. The building materials are left outside, unused. And the house, your muscle, begins to fall into disrepair. This is the very essence of senior health nutrition sarcopenia. It's not that you've stopped supplying the materials, it's that your body has stopped using them. So this leads us to the $100 million question. Why? Why does our foreman, mTOR, suddenly go deaf? After digging through mountains of research, the scientific community has come to a very strong consensus on the primary suspect. It's the fire I mentioned in the hook. The culprit is chronic, low-grade inflammation. Now, it's important to understand this isn't the kind of inflammation you see when you cut your finger or twist your ankle. That's acute inflammation. It's hot, it's red, it's painful, and it's your body's healthy response to heal an injury. Chronic inflammation is different. It's a silent fire. It's a low-level, invisible static buzzing in the background of your entire system, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's caused by decades of stress, poor sleep, environmental toxins, and very often, the modern processed foods we eat. This static is the problem. A 2018 study in the Annals of Medicine stated this clearly. Inflammaging, that's inflammation plus aging, is a direct contributor to anabolic resistance. Here's how it works. This chronic inflammation floods your body with something called inflammatory cytokines. You can think of these cytokines as radiostatic. Remember our foreman, mTOR? He's waiting to hear the clear knock from the protein. But these cytokines are blasting static, noise, and interference. The knock of the protein is completely drowned out by the noise of the inflammation. The foreman can't hear the signal, the door stays shut, and your muscles starve, even in a sea of protein. This is the true problem we must solve. Before we can even think about building new muscle, we must put out that silent fire, debunking the common solution. And this brings us directly to the most common solution, or rather, the most common myth you will hear everywhere. You go to your doctor, you read a magazine, you watch the news, and what do they say when you worry about muscle loss? They say, well, you just need to eat more protein. They say, try a protein shake after you exercise, or make sure you have a chicken breast with every meal. And frankly, this advice, while well-intentioned, completely fails to address the core problem we just discussed. Now that you understand anabolic resistance, you can see the giant logical flaw, can't you? Let's go back to our analogy. If the foreman, your mTOR, inside your muscle cell is deaf because of the fire of inflammation, is shouting louder by eating more protein, going to solve the problem? Of course not. You are just sending more construction workers, amino acids, to a job site that is locked. They just stand around, unable to get in, with nothing to do. This isn't just ineffective, it's wasteful. You're wasting your money on expensive protein powders or cuts of beef that your body can't even use properly. But it's worse than just wasteful. Your body has to do something with all of that excess, unused protein. It has to be processed, and that burden, the burden of filtering all of this, falls right on your kidneys. For those of us over 60, our kidneys have already been working hard for decades. Forcing them into overtime to process protein that our muscles can't absorb is a poor strategy. A study published in the journal Nutrients noted that in older adults, increasing protein intake without addressing the anabolic resistance had diminishing returns. So no, the solution is not more. That is a brute force approach. We need a smarter approach. We don't need to shout at the locked door. We need to find the key to unlock it. We don't need more protein. We need to make the protein we already eat work again. And to do that, we have to go back to the problem, the fire. So if more protein isn't the answer, what is? The total solution. So we have a locked door, the deaf muscle cell, and a silent fire, chronic inflammation, that's causing the problem. The brute force approach of just eating more protein is like shouting at that locked door. It's ineffective and it's exhausting. The smart approach is not about more. It's about strategy. The scientific literature points to a clear, elegant, two-step protocol. Think of it not as a brute force attack, but as a special operations mission. Step 1. You must send in the firefighter. Before you do anything else, you must calm the inflammation. You have to put out that silent fire, that radio static, so the muscle cell can finally hear again. Step 2. You must send in the master builder. After the fire is dampened, you send in the most effective building block. The master key that is specifically designed to fit the lock, turn that mTOR switch and command the cell to build. This two-step combination is the key, and the wonderful news is this isn't complicated. It doesn't require expensive, exotic supplements. This entire protocol can be accomplished with two simple, inexpensive, and delicious foods that you can find in any grocery store. Step 1. The firefighter food. Let's start with the most important job, putting out the fire. How do we fight chronic, low-grade inflammation? We fight it with the most powerful, scientifically backed anti-inflammatory compound on the planet. I'm talking about omega-3 fatty acids. Now, you've probably heard of these, but I want to explain why they are the perfect tool for this job. Omega-3s, specifically the ones named EPA and DHA, are not just anti-inflammatory in a passive way. They are actively pro-resolution. This means they literally travel to the site of that low-grade inflammation and help to resolve it. They are the all-clear signal that tells the immune system to stand down. They are the firefighters that walk into the noisy room and physically turn off the static-filled radio. The moment this happens, the foreman, our mTOR switch in the muscle cell, can finally breathe. It can listen again. The scientific evidence for this is incredible. A 2017 study from the Federation of American Societies for Experimental Biology found that when older adults were given omega-3s, their muscle cells became significantly more sensitive to the signals from protein. In simple terms, omega-3s cured the deafness. So, what is the best, cheapest, and most practical way to get these firefighters? This is food number 1, fatty fish. I'm talking about salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herring. These are the heavy hitters of the omega-3 world. And you don't need a giant, expensive steak of wild-caught salmon every night. A simple can of sardines, mashed up with a little olive oil and lemon juice, is one of the cheapest and most powerful anti-inflammatory snacks you can eat. Or a small 4-ounce portion of salmon just 2 or 3 times a week. Now, Frank, what if I don't like fish? That's a question I get all the time. If you don't eat fish, you have another great option: ground flaxseed and walnuts. These contain a different type of omega-3 called ALA, which your body can convert, though less efficiently, into the EPA and DHA it needs. A small handful of walnuts, or 1 or 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed. You must grind it, or it passes right through you. Sprinkled over your breakfast is a fantastic way to start fighting that fire. So that's step 1. We've sent in the firefighter, omega-3s, to put out the inflammation. The muscle cell is now quiet. It's calm. It is listening. Now we build. Step 2. The master builder food. This brings us to step 2, the master builder. Now that the door is unlocked and the foreman is paying attention, we can't just send in any construction worker. We need to send in the master builder, the one specific signal that the foreman loves to hear. The signal that makes him jump up and smash that Build Muscle Now button. When it comes to protein, not all amino acids are created equal. There is one specific master key amino acid. Its name is leucine. You can forget all the other 19 amino acids for a moment. Leucine is the only one that can, all by itself, trigger the mTOR pathway. It is the primary driver of muscle protein synthesis. A groundbreaking study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that in older adults, it wasn't just the amount of protein that mattered, but the amount of leucine in that protein. They discovered there is a leucine threshold. If you eat a meal with below this threshold, the foreman, mTOR, doesn't even wake up. But if you eat a meal above this threshold, about 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine, it's like a direct signal to his brain. He hits the button, the doors fly open, and muscle building begins. This is the entire secret to fixing senior health nutrition sarcopenia. So, where do we get the most leucine? This isn't about giant, tough-to-digest steaks. The most leucine-dense, affordable, and easy-to-digest foods on the planet are our food number 2, dairy proteins. Specifically, I am talking about Greek yogurt and cottage cheese. These foods are, gram for gram, the undisputed kings of leucine. Just one single cup of plain Greek yogurt contains almost 3 grams of leucine. It hits that magic threshold perfectly, all in one go. A cup of low-fat cottage cheese is right there with it. These foods are not just protein. They are leucine delivery systems. They are the master builder in a spoon. The two-step protocol, putting it all together. Now we execute the Special Operations mission. We combine the 2 steps. And this is where the magic happens. This is the cheap, simple protocol that solves anabolic resistance. Instead of just eating a plain piece of chicken, which has some leucine but no firefighter, or just taking fish oil, which acts as a firefighter but provides no builder, you combine them. Here is what that looks like in your kitchen. The ultimate sarcopenia fighting meal. You take 1 cup of plain Greek yogurt, that's your master builder, food number 2, packed with leucine. You add to it a handful of walnuts or 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed, that's your firefighter, food number 1, packed with omega-3s. For less than $2, you have just created a meal that performs both critical functions. The omega-3s from the walnuts are putting out the fire and making the muscle cell listen. And the leucine from the yogurt is simultaneously providing the master builder signal that the cell is now ready to receive. You are making your protein work for you. Don't like yogurt? Try this. A bowl of cottage cheese, your master builder. And on the side, a small tin of sardines on a cracker, your firefighter. This is the smart, strategic way to approach senior health nutrition sarcopenia. We are no longer shouting at a locked door. We are calmly putting out the fire with one hand and using the correct key to unlock the door with the other. This is how we stop fearing muscle loss. This is how we take back control. Conclusion. So, I have a simple challenge for you. Don't just take my word for it. Try it. For the next 7 days, I want you to try incorporating this 2-step protocol. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just try adding the firefighter and the master builder into 1 meal a day. Maybe it's Greek yogurt with walnuts for breakfast, or cottage cheese and some sardines for lunch. Just try it for 7 days, and pay close attention to how you feel. Notice your energy in the afternoon. Notice your clarity. Notice if things just feel a little bit easier. To quickly recap, we learned that the real culprit for muscle loss is often anabolic resistance, when our muscles become deaf to protein. We discovered this deafness is caused by the silent fire of chronic inflammation. We debunked the myth that just eating more protein is the answer. And finally, we discovered the powerful 2-step solution, the firefighter, omega-3s from foods like walnuts and fatty fish, to calm the inflammation, the master builder, leucine from foods like Greek yogurt and cottage cheese, to finally trigger muscle growth. Remember, building a healthier life, especially as we get older, is a journey, not a destination. It's about making small, consistent choices every day. And I would love to hear from you. What is one combination you're going to try? Or maybe you have a firefighter and builder combo of your own. Please share it in the comments below. I read every single one, and your idea might just inspire someone else in this community. If you found this information helpful and practical, please click that thumbs up button. Share it with a friend or a family member who might need to hear this. And be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss our future investigations. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.